guys, Macca with the Outer Circle, and today we're actually looking at my display cabinets. Yes, this is in my main lounge in my house. So it's a lovely day outside, nice overcast, typical Victorian weather. And we're actually going to look in my display cabinets. So, what do I keep around my display cabinets? Well, up top here, got trophies, things like that. Also got on the other side all different certificates and painting awards and crap like that. I've got nowhere to put them. Not interested in framing them, so yeah, are what they are. So, the actual shells themselves. On the two sides are my Primark collections. So traders on one side, Wheelists on the other. What I'm actually going to do is take the camera off the tripod, move on in. So, up top here, we've got Mortarium, Perturabo, Horus, Gorga, and Angry Ron at the back. So, yeah, neat little trader collection. All the plinths that I put on them are from Secret Weapon Miniatures. I think they look great. They save me having to make up a plinth every time I make a model, or having to make and cast my own. Sure, I could do it pretty easily. I do have a lathe, but that's not the point, right? Anyway, I love painting Primarks. These are my favourite thing to paint in the world. They almost make you want to just paint that whole army, you know? They're really rewarding to actually paint. They're very enjoyable, and they've got so much detail going on. The only downside of a Primark is so many people who aren't ready to paint them. And that's fine if you want to take a shot at it, but, you know, savour it. If you've got a great model like this, put the effort in, do it once, do it right. On this side, we've got Vulcan, Wingman, and Ferrus Manus. Same thing again with the Secret Weapon display bases, although this one's a bit crappier. So, not sure how that one got through, but hey, it happens. Otherwise, it's really good. Out of these Primarks, I think I enjoyed painting Liam and Russ the most out of the Wheelists. Vulcan was pretty cool, especially painting like his dragon scale cloak, and then I do apologise if it doesn't focus in, but see if I can get a close up of it. But yeah, painting that cloak was like a lot of fun. Tried to do something different every time I paint a Primark. So like with Lorgar, for example, his whole base is actually painted with oils. By stippling on oils and then wiping them off, it actually gave these really interesting earth tones to the base itself. And it's something very different. Whereas on Horus, I did a marbling effect. Obviously the photos don't do it justice, and neither will this footage, but in person, quite nice, has won me a few awards. All my memorabilia in that shelf, and my grandfather's. Down here we've got the knight that I won at the Act of Heresy competition. Well, actually just an event, not a competition. But I got the Reaver Trophy. It's this one up here. And yeah, part of the prize was this guy. And yeah, heaps of fun to build and paint. Shadow Sword, Storm Sword, maybe, that I converted up and painted. I bought this second hand from someone. Heaps of mold lines on it. Things incorrectly glued on. Went back, cleaned it all up, and then painted it for some tutorials on our channel. They're actually some of the first videos we ever did. Obviously got my small Space Wolves detachment here for Zone Mortalis. There are more coming, but they do take a while to build and paint, because as you can see, these are actually Chaos Warriors and Mark III power armor combined together in order to get sort of a very wolfy Space Wolf. Down the bottom shelf here, keep the Epic Titans. Sold half the Titans recently. I do still want to sell the other half. A lot of the test models I do live in this shelf, so I've got, if it'll focus, Thunder Warrior, single Thunder Warrior, based off the old GW design for one. Got some non-metallic stuff on this guy. All the gold and silver on him is non-metallic. You won't really see it in these photos though, because he's such a small model. And my phone appears to be going. What else? Oh, I keep my Zao-Arcurian, or Zao-Arcard, I should say, Magos, the Thousand Suns Allied Forge World. Just used a Onagar Dune Crawler for the legs and an Abeyant for the top half, just to make something pretty nifty. I call it my Scarab Magos, because, you know, scarabs, Egypt, cliches. I've also got a Greater Demon. That was actually my first Forge World model. Down there. That big guy right there. No, actually, I'll pull him out. You can have a look. I touched him up about a year or two back because I wasn't happy with how he looked. And my skills had progressed. So I went back and did a few, quite hard to spin around, modifications just to make him look a bit better. And that's, of course, a secret weapon base there as well. So I'm a big fan of their bases. I'm also like Micro Art Studios bases for resin bases, but they're quite expensive. So I've also got the second version of Ahak, the warlord from my Thousand Suns, who has since zentrified. There is a story to it, and some campaign progression has gone on, and I'm sure I'll get some nice pictures of him up one day. He's also got 3 followers that aren't in the display case right now. So, moving across, the Thousand Suns Legion that I've built. This is all legitimate Forge World and Games Workshop. I can't stress that painful point enough. Down the bottom, some converted Galvor back. My buddy dog's barking in the yard. So what I've done is use the Achaea pattern helmets and shoulder pads and replaced all the word bearers iconography on them just to make some flesh change Thousand Suns. And I use these for objectives, so each one has a number on them. I just thought it was a fun fluffy thing. I want to make some new objectives using like the Ark of the Covenant, like the old the Casket of Souls from Khemri, but Games Workshop doesn't make them anymore, do they? Squatted. Now, in this shelf we've got the Breaches, Seekers, a couple of Contemptors, Vindicator Laser Destroyer. This is all the anti-tank, these 3 blokes. I've got no other anti-tank in this army. I suppose the Castellax here, which are Zao-Arcurian or Zao-Arcard. Not sure which is the right term to use, but they're automata themed around that world. And of course the Praevian. Very hard to get hold of in Australia, so most people go recasts. Volkite Culverians and Flamer Squad. I used heavy flamers, but they count as actual flamers. I just like the look of heavy flamers more. Now up here, a couple of Terminator characters, Primus Medicae, Ahriman. See if I can focus that a little bit. The Legion banner, which is that, with like the Geigenhive battle honor and that. And cool thing about Australian tournaments, you often get decals with specific badges for that campaign. And I add them to like the command tanks and things like that. That front right one there in the middle, yeah, that's actually a campaign honor, so cool stuff. Legion champions of different kinds. Delegatus, again, hard to get hold of here. A converted Ahriman from 40k, who was my first HQ I ever built for the army. A tactical squad, Terminators, not Sekhmet, just Legion Terminators. Some veterans. and some more tactical marines. And of course, we have the rhinos at the back. These are not decals. All these symbols on top of the rhinos are painted on by stencil or airbrush or hand. Except for this one, which is the Veterans Rhino, which has a decal off the banners sheet. And yeah, same thing with the decal here. And all the rhinos, if I can get my finger in there, yeah, open up. They all open up and they're all magnetised. And the little magnet is actually in the top corner here and goes up into there to join them together so it stays shut. One thing I've learned about Thousand Suns is they are impossible to photograph nicely unless you fuck around with the light and colour. As you move around them, you'll notice that the colours change because it's all metallic red. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't talk about it. The Mastodon. Yeah. This thing was pretty, I wouldn't say complicated to build, but time consuming to do a great job of it. A lot of people slapped theirs together. I went through and I made sure that every single joint in this thing is like a rock. And people would come up, look at this, say, "Oh, you glued it all together." No, I didn't. It is just really, really nicely fitting. Gameplay wise though, it is atrocious. Not worth the points unless you do cheesy shit, like fill it full of tech marines to put all hull points back on it. But otherwise it's less survivable than a lot of other super heavies and costs twice as much, so can't carry things like Stellax. It can only carry 2 Contemptors somehow, even though they don't fit anywhere in it or through any of the internal hatches. Yeah, I know, it's a funny thing. But yeah, so that's my display cases. So I keep a lot of my stuff in. And yeah, display cases themselves are about $130 from Fantastic Furniture in Australia. But you know, there's all types of display case you can get, so that's not important. There will be a weekly scrub down coming out tomorrow night at this stage, because I have my brother's 21st tonight, so yeah, see how I'll be doing for that, hey? Thanks all for watching the episode, and we'll see you all next time.